Hello, hello, hello. We're back. We had to push the stream back a little bit. But hey, better late than never, huh? So yeah, thanks for people who come through. Gotta you get to use your intros in, warm things up some. Sent out the tweets. Also, so I got a tweet from the NX DevTools account. So appreciate that. Yeah. So if you caught I'm gonna make sure that I updated my. I did have a nice. I always try to come up with something catchy for the intro. So my people who old school people who remember Half Baked will probably get that reference. It was a little bit of a change on that though. Hey Yuri, thanks. I appreciate that. Much appreciated. Uh, how did your how did your stream go? Well, I caught some of the stream, didn't catch all of it. But how did your stream? How do you think your stream went in general? And are you planning on doing them regularly now, or what you got going there? Why is Nightbot deleting messages? Stop it. Okay, we got the. Okay, let's Dominic. Hey, what's up? I didn't catch the first message. Thanks for coming through. Much appreciated. Luciano, good to see you again. Thanks for coming through. Trying to get in the rhythm. I see. Cool. Yeah, that's I I've been doing pretty well, I'll say so far, at least this year, is trying to stay on schedule, even if I'm delayed, trying to still stay on schedule, at least in general for Thursdays, which is becoming a pretty heavy day for streaming, if I must say. Sheila Shalar Prowin. Hey, what's up? How are you? Thanks for coming through. I seem to get some new people in the stream or in the chat, which is pretty cool. I don't know if it's from tweets or the Discord messages or what, but thanks for coming through either way. Yes, I see it. First time chatter. Much appreciated. Yeah, I didn't. Usually, I try to go through and the find out some new things or in going on in Angular this week. I didn't have anything in particular because I didn't see any really new major releases or anything. But I'm sure there's other projects out there that I'll check out and things like that. I really want to start doing more, maybe not live streams, but more videos on um, open source projects. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. You got to have enough time to learn about the project, put the thing together, and plus I have an open source projects of my own to maintain too. So that's kind of the struggle there. Yeah, the elite is streaming on Thursday. uh, yes, we'll call the other people the elites, not the, which is why I want to keep them free so I can follow along with those streams. Yes, that was part of. I give you a little inside baseball here. That was part of the reason I was late starting my stream because I was watching another stream um, from which they might be still live now from James Q Quick and Ball Builded Builder, who I will drop the link in the chat here of both of those. Yeah, I can't hear my desktop audio, but that's okay. But yes, there's James Q Quick. If you definitely want to check him out, and Michael Jolly, aka Ball Builder Builder. Um, Definitely check them two out. Uh, Creators. I just found out Michael Jolly just went full time content creation, and James has already been doing his full time content creation, which is pretty cool. Nice. Been in touch with James a bit later. Okay, cool. Maybe we'll get to see some NX content on James's channel. That would be pretty cool, I must say. But yes, both of them have done. They're in the. I don't know. It seems like there's a wave. There's James and Michael's gone full time now, and of course Jason Lingstorf's gone full time now with his content creation also. And I see we have some. Let's see. Did Nightbot catch this? There we go. Block. Sorry, I'm just cleaning up some spam here in the channel. I guess it's always a sign of that you're doing something, I guess, right when you get spam. There we go. Okay, cool. Yes. No thanks on the follower spam there. How do you delete the spammers? I go in through the chat and click on their name, and then I click on the hamburger menu there, and I block them in that case. And then I also use Restream, so it gives me a way to show. It has a chat thing up here also that I can look at, and then I just remove them from there also. Because they usually what happens, they try to get in on the overlay, and that's how they end up getting blocked. Ball builder builder. I must have said it 3 times. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. And congrats on your latest adventure. That's what my go-to is when I talk to other people about when people say they're doing new things, or if I find out they're doing something new, I say congrats on your latest adventure, because that's usually what it is. But I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I think you'd be fine. You've been on the content train for a while, and I enjoy your content. So if that's worth anything, so looking forward to seeing more of it. Yes, I would like to get more on the content train also. I'm still doing the live streams, but I still want to do more, like I said, offline videos also. Mainly centered around open source projects, but I'm always in this place where I'm trying to balance being a maintainer and a content creator, and just a person who likes to consume content, because all those things take time. So balance is the challenge, but we're gonna see what we can do there. Cool. So, uh, yeah, we can get into it. I know people probably saw the title, taglines, all that, NX and analog. So for backstory, I'll get into my screen here. Yeah. So uh, for those of you, for some reason you don't know, NX is a smart, fast, accessible build system. Full disclosure, I used to work at NX slash Narwhal, but that's neither here nor there. I still use the product either way. But yes, build tool and also analog, which has gotten a fresh coat of paint, thanks to Marco, who's been submitting some PRs over there. Much appreciated. Um, so NX is for a build system, mostly focused on monorepos, but they're also creating some new integration for like standalone projects. So you get kind of that monorepo feel without um, the monorepo structure, I would say. You can create standalone projects there, but analog, also analog is the GitHub repo is a monorepo also. And you wanted to try to see about integrating an analog project into an NX monorepo and see what the steps are there. But ultimately, I would like to um, turn this into like a generator or something like that, so that you can just generate. If you want to generate an analog project inside of NX monorepo, you'll be able to do that with all the standard tooling and everything. So finding some integration there. But this is like the first steps in trying to see what it would take to get that working with NX. Hey, the Justin White, thanks for coming through. And let's see. Pin this message. Hard Bass 1904. Do you do some beginner Q&A or something? Got stuck in my Angular project. Oh boy. Yes, feel free to drop your question in the chat. I can't promise you a short answer on stream, but if I can try to help you, I will. Drunken Sniper 07. That name looks familiar. What's up, brother? How are you? You got the custom emojis also. You're doing it big time. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming through. But yes, feel free to drop your question and I will try to answer it, or if maybe somebody else will try to answer it if we can take it here. If not, you can hit me up in the Discord or in Angular Discord or Indirect Discord, whichever, and we'll try to get you helped out. Circular dependencies with standalone components. Before I use ng modules, everything's inside shared module. Marco, what's up? How are you? Thanks for dropping in. Now I got component A can imports B and B can import A. Well, yeah, good question. Let's see if what can I spin up quickly that will give me a graph? Let's see. Let's go into analog.js. I just want to bring up something because it's kind of relevant to NX also. Okay, this is documentation, NX depth graph. Is it still depth graph, maybe? Okay, cool. Show all projects. Yes. So this is more or less, yeah, for example, form builder. Yeah, I see. Yeah, so I was going to say there's probably a couple of ways you could do this because you have, like I said, I'm just using this as an example, two things that kind of depend on each other. And if you're trying to use this with like an injectable thing, then I would say you would need to split out what you can from those, split out what you can from that component and see if you can put that in a shared space. But if it's something like the two components can actually depend on each other, I will see if you can maybe separate something that you can share between those two components so that you can use that across both. But yeah, that's an interesting question of how you handle those circular dependencies with standalone components, because I have not run into that specifically yet, but I would say, yeah, usually you have to split something out into a shared place unless it's an injectable thing. Then you could use a forward ref like was mentioned in the chat. Yeah, put all inside form builder component. Yeah, that's one way to do it. I'm sure there's some way to do it without the circular dependencies, but I would say if you could, okay, I always say this, the easiest path is to like create a small GitHub repo or stack blitz, and you can send that to me on Twitter or in the Discord or wherever. That way we can kind of troubleshoot from there. But yes, definitely That'll be the easiest way. That way we can actually see what you're trying to do and at least give you some recommendations there. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, for sure. So yes, I was just pointing at this. I don't think I have any circular dependencies here, which I hope I don't. But uh, if you're looking at circular dependencies, first thing if you have NX Workspace, I would say look at your dep graph, dependency graph more specifically, and see where those dependencies lie and try to unwind those. So that'd be something to do there. But what I wanted to get into more specifically today was, like I said, trying to create a new NX workspace and get an analog project working inside there, and then seeing what we can do to generate that do that from scratch with a generator. So for ref solved in runtime, but Madge, for example, still warns me about spec files, about those components. Got maximum stack error. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I would I would say I guess you were trying to use I guess Madge is a little more granular than probably NX in that way and looking at the dependency graph. But yeah. So let's create px. Yeah, NX workspace. Just create a new workspace here. We'll call it analog project NX. And this could serve as multiple purposes, but we'll create it as a new project here. Then we'll bring it up in VS Code. Yes. Package-based monorepo, integrated monorepo, standalone. I don't want to do a standalone Angular application because that one is pretty straightforward. It could do a standalone React application. Configure your favorite frameworks. We'll choose. I thought there was empty option. No to faster builds in this case. If I knew, I would have stuck with ng modules for a while. I see. No, 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 no. Let me be clear. Stick with the standalone components. That is one thing I can't talk about. Because there was a blog post about this also from the prolific Tim DeShriver. Here it is. Let's bring this back up here. Tried Angular standalone migration, and here's the result. Yes, I would say even if you're using ng modules today, to look at what it would take to see if you can migrate to standalone components, only because the Angular team is looking at providing a way to automate this for you. I would not recommend you do this if you were doing this on your own, but because there's a migration available, I would say at least try to run this. And I was thinking about running this on the NGRX example application, and maybe we'll do that in a future stream. But as you see this message that Minko tweeted out here about what this migration does for being a standalone migration and kind of how it works and how you can have a little more granular control about migrating from the ng module world to the standalone world. So Tim, of course, went through this process of taking a new example application, migrating it to standalone, running the schematics to migrate to standalone and seeing what the differences were, and gives you reasons why you should migrate. So definitely check out this blog post. So I'll drop it in the chat also. For for the people who are looking to maybe looking at migrating in the future. From my point of view, I would say standalone components would be great for new projects, or if you're early on in a Angular project, you can migrate. I would say migrate today, but uh, like I've worked on some big Angular projects, and I doubt they would try to run this against their code. Maybe they would try to run this against their code base, but there's just a lot of moving parts, and of course they can't guess everything that people are doing with ng module based applications. So definitely check out the blog post and show Tim some love there because Tim is awesome, as mentioned by Santosh. And Santosh, thanks for coming through. But yes, if you have a smaller app, try the migration, see what you get into, and then let us know. And Kevin, what's up? How's it going? Good to see you in the chat, along with the people that have come through. Much appreciated. But yes, back to was trying to create an NX monorepo, and let's see, analog NX project. If it'll let me, I tried to create it, but it gave me a message. Let's try that one more time. So maybe I already had an existing folder. Let's see. Integrated monorepo. That's what I wanted. Apps. No. Okay, now it's giving me an error. So let's see what it is. Yes, can I see my terminal window? Yes, I'll bring it up over here. I did the usual create NX workspace, analog NX project, and tried to create a new one there. And it gave me an error. And I was trying to make sure that I didn't have any projects with the same name, which I might have, but I'll check and see either way. Because I do have lots of projects in here. So I could just have a duplicate. But I don't. Interesting. Do you have any advice on when you should use integrated monorepos versus package based? Sort of. So, um, and I'm going to lean on some of the docs here, if I can find it here. Getting started. Yeah, so they have some docs in NX docs about this also, but package based is more or less something I would use for um, analog if I didn't have any applications. If I didn't have any example apps, I just wanted to create, like I said, a library. Maybe a component design system would be a good choice there, where you just have a bunch of packages that you want to ship to npm, or you just want something with a little less structure. If you think of like Lerna workspaces or just npm workspaces, they just have like a packages folder, and then it has a bunch of packages in there. But you have a lot more control, I say, upfront about how you want things to be structured and how you want to use those. With the integrated approach, NX does a little more handholding for you, as far as giving you an Angular application, Angular app, React, or the things that it supports, and like configuring Jest and Cypress and all those tools for you. So it does a lot more handholding there. So if you want more flexibility with packages, I would say, of course, go with the package based repo. If you're looking to build like an Angular workspace with multiple apps and libraries and things, then I would go with the integrated repo approach and kind of scale up from there. Anthony, what's up? How are you? Thanks for coming through. Let's see if I missed any. I was trying to see if I missed any YouTube chat there, but I think I'm good. Yeah, hopefully that helps out some as far as package based versus integrated. Now, I yeah, my opinion on the package based versus integrated is yeah, just your level of control that you want to have over the structure and tools that you get out of the box. Because NX has had that perception before that it's too opinionated and it makes too many decisions for you. But with the package-based repo, you get you it gives you the option to do both now, where you have something that you can set up out of the box, and then it still gives you like NX is um, less opinionated than it would be for the integrated approach. Slowly recovering from the move. Ah, yes, I bet. Moving is no fun, and I do not want to do that anytime soon. So, congrats on the move. But yes, where were we? We're trying to create an NX project. So let's try yarn create NX workspace, and my name is NX app. Or I always try to put analog in here somewhere. NX analog. We'll make it all one word. Analog NX. we'll do that, and we'll see if this one does any different. If it okay, we got package space again. Package space monorepo. I was looking for integrated, empty monorepo, no cache. Okay, failed to create workspace again. Interesting. This is why you should create your. Maybe I should have just created the workspace initially. Let's see. Yes. Cannot generate a new workspace within an existing workspace. Ah, okay. So there's something on my end. Let's check and see if I have an nx.json around here somewhere that I should not. Was getting fed up of RxJS operator imports auto importing from just RxJS, so wrote a local generator to rewrite these on save. NX plugins are an underrated feature. That is true. I heard you like workspaces, so we put a workspace in your workspace. That is correct. That's where I am right now. Okay, so let's try this then. What? Okay, so I'm in. I think we're okay. I think I should be good now. Let's try this one more time because I may just been inside of it just been the, and I didn't want package base. I chose the wrong one. Let's try it one more time. Integrated apps. No. Creating a workspace in analog NX repo. Okay, so I think I was going to blame it on the stream. I was tripping over my own feet there. So analog NX repo. Gonna open that up. Cool. So we have I chose the empty approach because I wanted to see what we would need NX console. I already have NX console installed. I should, but it doesn't look like it. But we're not going to install that just yet. Okay, so we're looking here. Wow, they have nuked. It's been, I'll say admittedly, it's been a while since I've looked at what you get with NX out of the box. But since this is an empty workspace, I guess it should be pretty sparse. So we're going to yarn add narwhal slash angular dev. And we'll let that install. Yes, Addition Addict. Why were you not importing from RxJS? I thought that was the recommended way these days. Is to import from there instead of RxJS/operators. So I'm going to do nxg narwhal slash angular init. I think that's the command. Style sheet CSS, which I don't know how much we're going to write with CSS here. Probably none. But well, yeah, the at least with the later versions of RxJS, that's why they moved everything to the RxJS import. Now, if you're on version 7 or later, you can still do that without penalty. So the RxJS/operators is there for like backwards compatibility mostly with version 6. And a lot of libraries and it's time to write another generator. That's right. A lot of libraries like NGRX and all the rest of them, we're still using RxJS/operators because Angular has not Angular still works with both version 6 or 7. So if you want to maintain compatibility with both versions, you got to use RxJS/operators. But that's more of a library maintainer problem than um, an user problem. Add Angular depths. Okay, so I need to generate a new Angular application. So we can generate an Angular app. What do you name this? Analog app. And let's see what the dry run gives me. We're gonna do, I believe I can use standalone here also, which is pretty nice. At least for the setup anyway. Dry run. Like to configure routing. No. Okay, cool. And analog app. Oh, inline styles. Yeah, I guess I have to do all the inline template, inline style. I don't know if it's inline style or inline styles. No. Okay, that should give me E to E test runner or none. That's right. We're not writing any end-to-end tests today. Equals none. And we're not doing unit tests either. Runner equals none. Where's my NX console? Yes, I don't know. I thought I had it installed, but I do not. And okay, that's interesting. Skipping analog app, analog projects already exist. I don't see it. Unit test runner. I did something wrong here. Must have. NX console. Yes. I'm typing out terminal commands like an animal because that's what I do. Shout out to Ball Builder. Um, but yes, if you're using NX for, other things, you should use the NX console because that keeps you from having to type all this stuff out. Yes, I thought I typed in unit test runner equals none. I thought I did that correctly. Unit test runner equals none, and it gave me an error. So let's try without the dry run and see if that makes a difference. No. Okay, so it looks like a bug. So we're just gonna go with no E to E test runner and generate an app there. Why is it always find the bugs on always find the bugs on stream? And then I have to go like file an issue and all that. But Yuri's in the chat, so maybe he saw what I did, and I'll drop the command that I used in the chat, and he can help me get fixed up there. So we'll drop that there. You're welcome. um, yes, so we have our analog app, git add, just, and I'm only doing this so I can destroy everything if I need to. So let's take a look in here and see. Got our main. There supposed to be more in here. Bootstrap application. Oh, I guess it doesn't have providers and things like that. So app component, index. Okay, cool. So I know that we at least have the bones of an Angular application here. So we'll bring up our terminal here. Am I in the repo project? I am in Xserve. Both project and target have to be specified. Okay. I guess we don't have default projects anymore. Analog app. There we go. Okay. So let's bring up the app here. Localhost 4200. Okay, cool. So analog app, all that is nice and well. So at least know the application works. So we'll stop that. And I wanted to try first before I go down the manual route and see how far I can get with the, if I remember correctly, there is a way to generate a configuration for Vite, I believe, which might get me some of the way there. I wonder if I could have generated an application with Vite as the bundler, an Angular app with Vite as the bundler. Probably wouldn't do that because it's not officially supported, but we'll try it anyway. Generate React app, generate React library, web application. Hello. Tom Webb Walker. Thanks for coming through. How are you? So it does give me instructions on how to modify an existing project. So if I can use the Narwhal Vite generator, let's try that first. Yarn, copy. Gotta love to copy paste shortcuts there for the documentation. Okay, so Narwhal Vite init. Which UI framework should Vite use? Let's go with none. So at least install the things that I need to get it working. Okay. We check the dependencies here. Just saw analog and I love to work with NX, so I'm really interested in the stuff you're doing. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is take a vanilla Angular application in an NX repo, monorepo, and see what steps it would take to start using Vite with that. I've done it kind of on my own application, own repo in analog, but maybe I was looking at maybe writing this up as maybe a blog post or something to show how that's done. So I'm kind of walking through what I would need here. One in KXZ. Hey, what's up? Never used analog and anything around it or NX. Where can I know more? Can you just say in simple words what NX is for? Cool. Yes, I can. Um, Analog, we'll start with analog. Analog is a full stack meta framework for Angular. So if you think about Next.js, SvelteKit, Nuxt, it's similar to those, but it uses Angular underneath. Um, and this is just some of the things that some of the features. It's Vite under the hood, does SSR and SSG, and has file-based routes and API routes as some of the features that are supported today. But the goal is to, like I said, have a meta framework that you can still build Angular applications, just have a lot of these things out of the box. Uh, NX is a build system for mostly targeted toward monorepos, but you can build standalone applications with it also. And so I'm trying to see what the integration is like for these two things together. Because you can generate a standalone, well, I don't want to call it, you can generate an analog application on its own, but we don't have any generators yet for NX. So I at least wanted to see what the steps were and see if we can automate that some if we have enough time. So, and I was just going through the docs here to see what, going through the docs to see what the steps were for using the Vite plugin, which Analog already uses, but converting it an Angular application instead of a React one. So, okay, so after you install the dependencies, run the init. I thought I already ran that. Yes, I did. So I guess I just installed the packages, but didn't try to convert my existing app to. Okay, I think this is what I'm looking for. Narwhal Vite configuration. Let's try that one next. NXG narwhal/Vite configuration. Name of the project, analog app, UI framework, none. Project cannot be used to. Project cannot be converted to use the Narwhal Vite executors. Okay. Let's see why not. I'm probably missing something that it needs. None. Okay, no specific message. So it's probably something that, because it's an Angular, or of course, because it's an Angular application, it won't just use it as is. Let's jump into, just for kicks, to see what it's looking for. Found valid target name, build, and project contains unsupported executor. Okay, so it's looking for a specific target name. Find existing targets in Workspace. Yeah, it's probably only does it for certain ones, which is understandable. Let's see if we can find what those are. Supported executors, nx.est/vite build, Narwhal.js, Webpack. Okay, serve, unsupported executors, Narwhal Angular size package. Okay, so out of the box, if we go back and look at the apps, analog app project, we have Angular dev kit, build Angular browser. And in here, we see that this is under the unsupported executor. So it won't automatically convert it. Hey, Sirkin, what's up? How are you? I hear you, and I think I need to learn more. I use React at the moment and I'm at a mid level. I should dig more about automation, building, etc. Yes. Um, yes, you should. Especially if you're like building multiple apps and things. It definitely helps you, gives you more organization around building those apps and separating them out. So definitely take a look at NX. But even if you're building like a small standalone app, you can do that with NX also. From Argentina, living in Barcelona, Spain. Sorry for my mid English level. Hey, no worries. I was able to see what you were saying, so um, no language barrier there. I think we're good. But yes, you should try out. I don't know what your current. Yeah, that's a good question. What does your current stack look like as far as your React app? Are you using like Create React app or Vite or something else? If you don't mind sharing. Okay, so we know we can't do that. I say so. We're gonna have to go down the manual route here. So a typical analog project is slightly different in a way that the index.html here is at the root of the project here. So we'll move that file and I will create a vite.config.ts here, which I probably, it may have been easier to just generate a React project and like copy it over, but then we're looking at that too. And also, I sponsored you as a couple months ago on GitHub. Hey, appreciate that. But they removed PayPal as a payment. Oh, that's unfortunate. Realize there's no cursor. There's no cursor. There is a cursor, unless I'm missing something. Um, let's go back to docs here. Integrations, Astro. I don't think that's what I want to copy. Routing, static site generation. This just has a minimal analog thing in here, so I'm just going to copy this. But yes, I'm going to install, at least install some analog dependencies. So analog.js/platform, analog.js/router. That should be enough to get started. Got to be some Mac OS issue with OBS. Probably so. Because I see a blinking cursor, but you don't see it, which is interesting. Okay, so we have our analog package installed at least. And I'm not going to do pre-rendering or static site generation just yet. And I do need some other things here. Resolve. I'm using my own dependencies. I'm using own dependencies from the company, doing functionality to integrate them all and deploy them with Git and other services that take care of the backend, etc. At the moment, helping around some Android stuff, but like a trainee. Oh, okay. You're like you're doing all the things, it sounds like. So I'm going to peek here at what's in my vconfig for a new project and create analog, just so I can copy some of this stuff out of here. So let's just copy all of this and we'll replace that at least. ES 2020 source assets, which is correct. I like to learn. I enrolled at 4 meta courses, careers like DevOps, backend, Android, and you are all over the place. Um, You're going to be a generalist or something like that. Just a little bit of everything. So we have our Vite config here, and I need to set up some things here so that it uses the narwhal Vite executor instead of this one. So I'm going to change this to build.ng and serve.ng, just so we can have some clean executors here. Executor narwhal slash Vite. What do I want to use here? Is it dev server, I believe? And my Vite config, I believe, is, I think I can leave this empty, but I'm going to put something there anyway. Build ng expected comma. Yes, you're right. Let's look at our template app here. Angular JSON. So I probably could just copy these two, because you don't need to see me type those. So we'll just bring in the build and serve executors. For build, we got narwhal slash Vite. I'll change this to executor and narwhal slash Vite slash build, config file, and output path, which would be apps analog app slash client. Oh, that should stay the same. Then for serving, narwhal Vite slash dev server development. What did I name this? Analog app. Change my app to analog app. And just for kicks, we'll change this to 4200. Imagine that I also have a degree in multimedia arts. Hey, sounds like you should be creating content, my friend. I need to see you on YouTube ASAP. Tom Webb Walker, is there a way to contribute to Analog.js if there is help needed with something? I am thinking about contributing to open source projects and looking for something. Yes, there's always a need for help with open source projects. I do need to do a better job of marking things as, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be good first issues, but I do have, I will drop the repo in here. If you want to look at the current issues, and yeah, a lot of the things that will help, especially in open source projects, are trying it out, number one, and filing bugs if you find any. And if you want to, opening issues is, contribution also. Documentation is a contribution. All these things can help you contribute to an open source project. If you're, and this kind of goes into, I will throw a quick plug in here. There is a project that helps you find open source contributions called Open Sourced. And so I would check out Open Source. I will make this specific to Angular. And I do work on this project, so I will, full disclosure there. But hey, and I see some familiar faces there. Miro, Max. It helps you. This project is helping people find projects to contribute to. So definitely check out the project, and you can use the Explore tab to see what projects are like being recently updated in the Angular space. And if you want to kind of track some projects, you can do that also. I have some insight pages here. You just have to connect them to your GitHub account, and then you can create your own insight pages and list them there. So I have some for Angular, my open source project, Solid, backend as a service project, static site builders. I kind of use this as like a place to collect things. So, but you can use it for something else, also something different if you want. So yeah, quick plug. But yes, sign up for an open source account, track some projects, find some projects to contribute to, and we can help make that better for other people looking to make contributions. So, and you're right, Agent Ender Cake. Docs PRs are the best first contributions. That is true. They are low hanging fruit, as we say. But if we go back here, and we're back to serve, and in our vconfig we have the analog here. I think I'm pretty sure I need to update. Well, by default, we're expecting analog to be like at the root of the project. So, trying to think what I need to update here. Let's see. Analog.js. Just looking off screen here for a second. And see what I need at a minimum at least. SSR. Okay, so I'm not using anything specific there. So let's try it and see what's broken and what's not. Yes, I know Agent Ender. I recognize that name, so I knew it was Gregory, but the cake kind of threw me off there. Hey, Warning KXZ, thanks for coming through. Enjoy your dinner. So we have our Vite config set up. I did not. There was another thing I need to add here, and that's a script tag. And we're set to type equal to module, and the source equal to main.ts. It should be source.main.ts. And so we have our project, our index.html, our Vite config. And we'll see if we need anything extra there. So let's fire this thing up and see if that still works. Serve analog app does not have an executor configured. Okay, I must have build ng executor build serve. Did I choose the right one? Let's see what I put. That looks correct to me. Oh, maybe am I in the right? Yes, I'm in the right app. Analog. Oh, okay. I think I entered the wrong thing. No, I'll put analog app. Analog app. Let's try that again. Serve does not have an executor configured. Angular global compilation prevents from using Vite directly. How does analog solve this problem? Good question. Sure, let's take a step back into analog. So the Vite plugin that analog uses under the hood still does the global compilation model. So when the when you start a Vite application, we do the initial build. We set up the global part at the beginning, right? So that part's set up, and then the when we need to transform a file, we just run the compilation again, and then transform that file and send that file through Vite's normal pipeline. So it presents the challenge that um, it's a little bit different than what Vite's normal pipeline is, uh, where everything is like single file compilation and it's just a pass through. But you can still use Vite plugins to transform files and things like that. The caveat probably is that the Angular plugin needs to run first, and then you can transform your files from there. Builder versus executor. Well, this is an NX monorepo, so and I did spell executor correctly, didn't I? Okay, so let's try something that works. Serve ng analog app. Okay, so that um, works correctly, sort of. At least got me past where I was. Build ng, serve ng. I see builder on line 26. Ah, you are correct. I thought I changed both of those. Good catch. NX serve, analog app. Oh, that's nice. Cannot, no such file or directory. Okay, cool. tsconfig.app.json, which I know that exists there, so we just have to fix that in here. Vite tsconfig, and we'll just change this to apps analog app tsconfig.app.json. That should give us our files. New error equals progress. That is true. So let's start this up again. Localhost 4200. So we got something there at least. And white screen. In this configuration, Angular requires Zone.js. Yes, it does. But we know where to fix that. And the difference here is that if we go in the project.json here, and we go under, it's probably build.ng. We have polyfills here, which you can define things like Zone.js that get kind of implicitly added to the scripts for the application. When we're doing the Vite setup, we don't have a polyfill. Well, we don't have a polyfills in the executor for Vite. So we'll just go in here and add this to the application itself. We'll go in here and add to the application itself. And now we have our analog app back up and running, with everything looking good and well there, which is pretty cool. One thing that I was surprised about is the style. Well, okay, cool. Yeah, the styles work because the styles are embedded in this analog NX repo welcome component. So then we have our component here. So if I wanted to add these global styles to the Vite application, I would need to add the link relative equals style sheet, and I believe it's href equals /source /styles.css. We would need to add that. And we could try that right now. Background, let's see, body, background color equals blue, make things look nice and blue, overly blue. So at least know the styles work there too. So we can change that back, and we're back at where we were. So, so that would be at least from a configuration standpoint, that would be enough to what we would need to take an existing Angular application and and convert it to use Vite inside of an NX workspace. So let's see what changes I have here. I don't think I remember changing anything in here. That's right, Dominic. The best way of debugging CSS, setting background color and solid lines um, would be the step there. Yep, index.html, move that file, vconfig, and we'll add this as our refactor, switch analog, switch Angular app to use analog and Vite. So that is at least the steps that I could, at least the steps that I could take if I wanted to turn it, because I probably won't have time to turn this into a look at creating a generator out of this. But it would be to use the Narwhal Angular generator to generate the app, then kind of tweak these things to support, like moving the index.html, adding the things to the main.ts, which all these things NX supports. It just won't do it here because it's checking to see if it's allowed. Yeah, DNDP. I tried to use the narwhal/Vite configuration because they did have a generator that will do this for you, but the Angular executors/builders are not supported, and it gave me an error when I tried to do that because it needs to have certain. Well, yeah, it tells you here certain supported build executors. If it's in this list, then it will try to convert it over. But a standard Angular application is going to have browser and dev server, so it's not going to try to move those. So that's why we had to do the manual route, because ideally you would run the configuration, it would move all the files and set up the executor, and then I just add analog to the Vite config, ideally, but not supported officially as of yet. One thing I do want to add is, because this is a normal thing to do in NX workspaces, is to generate an Angular library. So we'll try to do that. Yes, the Angular team did recently announce they're not going to go Vite, but rather just go with ESBuild. Yes, that's true. And the Vite uses ESBuild under the hood also, so there's that. But yeah, I went down the Vite path because I think that it has a strong plugin system and a lot of support from the broader web community outside of Google. So it's more of an option than if you want to switch to using Vite. And I'm trying to build things around the Vite experience, like with the file-based routing and the API routes and everything else. So I knew that the ESBuild stuff was coming, I'm glad to see that they're speeding up the Angular builds for everyone. So I'm looking forward to having that support there also. And of course, if they move to a single file compilation model, then that will slot right in with the rest of the stuff that I'm doing here. So it'll be supported in some way or fashion either way. But I guess it's no different than the Angular team already having their builder out of the box, and then are you using your own thing? So, or using like a custom Webpack builder. In this case, we're using Vite instead of Webpack, so it could be that sort of situation. But I'm getting support from the Angular team on what I'm doing also, so which is pretty cool. Yeah, so generating an Angular library, we'll call this my lib. And so we'll get that because this is something that you'll normally do with an NX workspace. So generate my lib. Oh man, can I generate a, I probably could have done this as a standalone thing, but that's neither here nor there. My lib.module, and just my lib.component. Yeah, like I said, I had been looking to go down this path for a while anyway. Uh, I just kind of got to a point where I got up enough, I don't know, I got tired of seeing it everywhere else to be able to, instead of just wanting to do it. So, I figured the team will do it when they do it officially when they're ready. But for now, we're going to keep plowing forward. My component works. And so we create our component. Probably getting some decorators. Yeah. Decorator thing, export star from lib, my component, my lib dot component, and we'll take the module out. And of course, we need to make this standalone. We'll give it a selector, my component, standalone true. One thing we will need to add to the Vite config here, which I believe they already installed the package when I did the init /Vite init earlier, was the Vite tsconfig paths library. So what we're going to do is come into the Vite config and add the tsconfig. I'm not sure what the import is. Well, it's probably a default import because that seems to be the standard with Vite plugins. tsconfig paths plugin. Vite tsconfig paths. Okay, cool. And we're going to add that. And let's see what we need to add here. Projects, our root for resolving project paths. Okay, so it should probably be root. And we're going to go back to, I guess, the root of the workspace, maybe. Let's see if there's any. Like I said, this would all be normally handled for you automatically with the Narwhal Vite configuration. So we'll see if that helps there. So if we want to bring in this component from this library, we'll take out the NX welcome component and bring in my component here, lib my component. Import my component from my lib. What about API routes? Do they need to be within the app? Can we move them to a lib? Good question. The API routes do need to live within the app. So if I go in here and create app, server, or not under app, have my app directory. Instead, I create server and routes. And I create a new file here called test.ts, and I import from H3 to import define event handler, export default, event, return success true. Now I probably need some extra setup because we're in an NX workspace as far as the paths go. But yes, the server routes would need to be defined in here for the API. Now um, you could possibly move the logic for the route into a library, and then just use the route here to like define the last mile, I guess. So let's claim this test equals, and then we'll take this part and put this in here and pass that to the event handler. So then I can move this code here to a library. And so the routing part is just setting up the last, like I said, the last mile of it. So it's possible to do in that case. Same with the file-based routing also. If I go in here to main and I want Bootstrap application and add providers here, I can add provide file router, import that, provide file router here from analog.js/router. And then I can just come in here and create some routes. Name this index.ts. And we will put our router outlet in here. Of course, it's giving me the error because I don't have the router outlet. And then in here, I'm just going to copy this really quick and name this home component. And we're going to drop my component in here. And with a self-closing tag. So there you go. I get some more flack about it when somebody goes back and rewatches the stream. But you know what? That's okay. And we do need to change this to a default export there. But it's the same thing. If you wanted to move this component into a library, that would be interesting though, how you would do that. Let's say this my component was your route, your top level route. I suppose you could do something like this if you just wanted to use the file-based routing as like the last mile. And then this would be your page component. So that's definitely possible to do. Now, are people going to do that? I don't know. That's for you to tell me if that would be which option you think would be better. Because you could just have the top level wrapper component and then your route component in its template to do that. So, and we don't need the selector necessarily for the home route. Let's see, we have that. It's probably need to restart the server there. So let's try that. Still got there. Load children must be component. Yeah, I'm probably missing something. API app routes index.ts. Standalone true. Yeah, so let's go router outlet there. So yes, you can bring in the, let's try my component there. Yeah, so my component works, and we're bringing in my component from the library. So yeah, I may probably need something else on the wiring up here, but this should be export default class. So we can look and see. Let's run a force here and force it to pick up the dependencies again, just for completion's sake. Provide file router. We'll take this out. Yes, homeworks. Probably put it in the lib. Yeah, you could do it, like I said, you could do it either way. Let's see, my component works. And refresh here. Okay, we're still getting my component works, probably because, yes, we have this here. Router outlet. Can I do that? I haven't tried that also. That'd be something new, all new as well. Valid configuration. Okay, I must be missing, I have to be missing something from what I've set up so far. Peter, thanks for coming through. You're coming in right at the tail end of getting it set up. So we got the application running, at least within an NX workspace and Angular application. We converted it over. And I will try, let's see, /API/test. Does that work? Okay, we didn't get that one working either. So I probably have some configuration. I'm sure I need more configuration I needed to add. But we do know that the minimum, the MVP works. I'll have to look back and see what I missed there, and even with library support. So there we go. But yes, we'll have to look at seeing what we could do to automate this even more, so you can just generate a new app and get up and running out of the box. And I'm sure I'll figure out what's going on here after the stream is over. And there's probably, let me take one more thing here, and let's see, Nitro. Let's set our root directory. That's probably what I need to do. Analog app. And this is just for the API part anyway. So that it recognizes the route. And there we go. API test true. So yeah, just some configuration that we needed there. We're usually a shell lib that aggregates other feature libs. Yeah, that's a common pattern. And my component works. So yeah, I think that is gonna about wrap it up for today for the stream. Thanks everyone. I forgot some follows here. Hey Austin Gill, thanks for the follow. I don't get notifications for people subscribing on YouTube, but maybe that'll be a future stream. We could build that as some sort of integration or something, because that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming through. Let's see if there's, I'm sure there's someone online to raid. Let's check and see. Kev D Dev. Hey, we will raid Kevin. who actually tried out analog on a stream earlier also. So we will see if we can get that working this time. Just mute that. And we will see if we can get this going. Samson Orson, thanks for coming through. And we will send you all over there. Raid. And we'll let that queue up there. With that, we got 8. We'll let this thing finish. Cool. Thanks to everyone for coming through. And with that, I will see you all in the next one.